Check, check, check. Hey, hey, hey. Check, check, check. Hey, hey, hey. All right. Good news, everyone. We got sound, we got video. Let's just switch it up here. Multiple videos. So, real quick, it is a crazy snowstorm over here in Connecticut. Let me just lower the volume over here. Sorry, I'm getting double noise. There we go. We've had a crazy snowstorm here in Connecticut, and I'm sure it's also in New York and surrounding states. It's just I can't even explain it. It's just yeah, it's crazy here. Broke 2 plows because we have quads with plows to plow our driveway and everything. It's been intense. Anyway, long story short, we've got multi-camera angles set up, two right now, and I've got a remote switcher on the way, but it probably won't be delivered until that snow is gone. I don't think Amazon's getting here anytime soon. So anyway, what I want to just welcome you all in and thank you for being here. Before we get started, I want to just say that there is a chat option if anybody would like to use the chat option. I know Adriana, thank you for being here, and Johanna are here. You can actually click the YouTube button on the player, and it'll take you to YouTube, which allows you to get into the chat. So if you want to say hello, if you have any questions, we can throw it up in the chat. I'm just gonna type something here. I won't be checking it the whole time, but I'll take a moment midway through to just check in case there's anything that you have to share or ask about. And if you just want to say hello to everyone and get connected, that's the way to do it. Of course, if you don't really want to get distracted, then stay where you are. No need to go to YouTube. All right, so give me just one moment to get myself centered. So this is an exciting experience we've got ahead. I created this idea of the dance based on, towards the end of my live in-person touring, I was teaching these classes that were called Root Down, Sweat and Move. And I started to transition those classes into an experience, or let me say workshops, into an experience that was cultivating mindfulness through transitions between postures. So what I noticed in my own teaching and in connection to watching other people teach, I've just noticed that we isolate the difference between alignment and flow. And, you know, teachers like me, I really enjoy static postures and micro movements within the postures, and that's where my focus lies and where my intention lies and where my body feels the best. However, I also do practice movement base. I do practice flow, and when I flow, my interest is in being aware of my physical body. So anything that's asana based, meaning physical practice, for me is highly my goal, my intention always with asana is to keep it in alignment with yoga. And yoga itself is the practice of self-awareness. So if I'm not becoming more self-aware through my movement, then I'm not practicing yoga. I can still be practicing movement, like practicing dance, I could be practicing whatever, you can call it performance, you can call it anything. But if I'm not becoming more aware of my muscular patterns, more aware of my reactivity emotionally, more aware of the sensations of my body, if I'm not cultivating awareness, then I'm not practicing yoga. Doesn't mean it's less than or not as good then, right? But what I wanted to do in this concept, in this immersion, was take this month to explore something different. And that is to allow myself, and share this with you, to focus on alignment, but really what I call technique, because it's more about muscle engagement than it is about like structure, bone placement. So alignment or technique or biomechanics when we transition from one posture to the next. So, rather than just like aligning within a posture, which we'll do, we're going to take that one step further and apply our awareness of our body and our techniques to movement-based practices. And the best thing that we can do to start there is with the sun salutations, right? So sun A, sun B, these are movement-based asanas where they're predominantly focused on continuous movement with the breath. And the first thing I'm going to invite you into is to make sure that when you're doing this movement-based practice of sun salutations, that you're putting your body through a movement through a count. So, for example, a lot of the times when I ask people to do three-legged dog, I'll say, inhale, reach the right leg up, and they'll inhale and the leg will go up like this. So they'll just kind of like shoot up and then hold, right? Whereas there's all of this movement in between where the muscles can learn how to engage and move through space that we would miss if we just reach the arm up. And part of that is because there's a difference between explosive power in a muscle. So if that's explosive power, it's easier on the muscle in some degree because it only has to engage for a split second and then it doesn't have to engage so much anymore once it's there. And that's what most people do. They just, in their asana practice, explosive power, even though it may not feel explosive. It's just this big burst of energy and then they're done, right? So what I'd like to invite you into is every step of the way is mindful and present. And this way, you're going to have to actually activate your muscles through range of motion. So you'll have to activate, I'm pretending this is a leg, for the full inhale. Exhale. Rather than inhale, exhale, right? That's a very choppy like practice. So the first thing we're going to cultivate together is movement, and what I say, it's like moving like as if you're underwater. So there would be a resistance to our movement, not just we're there, right? So every movement we try to find resistance, active resistance. Now what happens when we do this kind of movement is that muscles start strengthening against one another. So our muscular system gets actually stronger because instead of just one muscle activating, the opposing muscles are slowing the movement down. So the muscles that would lift the arm, we'll just call the deltoids right now, are being counteracted by the lats and gravity. The latissimus dorsi is helping slow this movement down. Here comes Tito. Bye, Tito. Have a good day. Hello, Phoenix. Nice to have you here. I'm super excited to have you in the training. I noticed that you signed up. Thank you so much. Okay, so slow the movements down like you're moving through water. And we're gonna work on, I'm not sure if you saw my Instagram post last night talking about chaturanga. That's the first thing we're gonna work on. So if you've got socks or a blanket, something to slide on, that's going to be really helpful for us to practice the jump backs to chaturanga and also the jump forwards to uttanasana from down dog. We're going to be working predominantly today on sun salutation A and B and trying to get those movements really slow and controlled. And I want to be clear that this is going to be very technique driven for movement, and then ultimately the goal is that you'll be able to move more let's say gracefully or joyfully or even freely with a smoothness to the movement. And with that smoothness, there's an attentiveness from the mind where you can actually feel your muscles engaging through every joint space. So it's not just I'm here and then I'm here. you know, but it's I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here the whole time. And that presence is what we'll start to cultivate, okay? And from that presence, that's where our practice of yoga is going to evolve in the transitions from point A to point B. I remember when I was a child, I used to go on vacation with my parents, and I'd always ask, as we were driving to the vacation, are we there yet? Are we there? Very impatient. I just wanted to go, here we are. I want to go to where we're going. Just get me there now, right? There's this like impatience about me. Now, I have that in my movement, so I always have to remind myself, it's not about being wherever I'm going. Are we there yet is right here. Am I here right now is the question. And am I attentive to activating my muscles through in this range of motion, not where I'm going next, because then I lose the practice of yoga. I lose the awareness that I'm trying to cultivate altogether. So I invite you into this practice, smooth transitions, and a lot of it's going to be mental strengthening, focus strengthening. So that for a lot of people feels like thinking, which I'm not sure where thinking got a negative connotation, but a lot of people get negative when they think about thinking. Your thoughts, the way that you think, maybe what you're focusing your thoughts on might be negative or you might not enjoy them, but thought itself is a gift of humanity. It's a gift of life. What you're placing your attention on might be not serving you. So let's just place our attention on our movement and exercise our thoughts in a way that is going to concentrate on the action at hand and will cultivate attention of the mind. This is one of the biggest challenges of the yoga practitioner, and it's what the yoga practice as a whole is trying to do. Hi, welcome back, Tito. This is Tito, in case you don't know him. Can you say hello? Okay, here we go. Ready to go. Tito's just gonna say hi. Say hi, Teets. All right, come to the top of your mat. Let's kind of stand. I'm going to switch the camera angle here. I've got only my digital clock. I want my analog one so I don't get distracted here. There it is. Okay. All right, everyone. Let's do this. Let's get started. So, first things first, let's get our joints mobilized because we're going to be doing some sun salutations. And in those sun salutations, we're going to do some weight bearing on the shoulders. It might be a little bit strenuous, so I want your joints to be warmed up. Let's do some just shoulder rolls. That goes up, back, down, and around. Okay, this is going to awaken your trapezius muscles to go up. And when you go back, that's the rhomboid muscles, the muscles that squeeze the shoulder blades together. Okay, now let's bring that into the wrist circles. Work on these forearm muscles. So there's some muscles in the wrists, and again, if you didn't see that Instagram video that I posted yesterday, it's probably a good idea to go check it out, but I'll reiterate a lot of those stuff, the little details I put in there, that there's muscles of the wrist called, you can keep going by the way, called the flexors of the wrist, and they lie on this side of the forearm. And what they do is they make a fist, okay? And in plank pose and chaturanga and the jump forwards, our wrist is in deep extension. So what we want to do to protect this joint is to oppose the extension by activating the flexors of the wrist. So we do the opposite of extension in our muscular system. The joints are in extension, but muscularly we're going to resist that, okay? So let's use the extensors of the wrist first, warm them up by doing these things called flashlights. So you flick your fingers as if you just washed your hands and you're trying to get the water off of your hands. You can hear that little bit of a flick. Flick, 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 flick. Thanks for those of you that are participating in the chat. Nice to obviously make sure you're staying focused on your practice, but if you have questions that come up or you get really excited about something, you can shout it out in the chat and we'll talk about it midway through or at the end. Okay. At this point, if you're not getting tired, then you're not flicking hard enough. So really, I'm not sure, you should be able to hear that in the mic, right? Okay, and relax. Now we're gonna do slow. Take your left arm up, forward, 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 up, 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 up. And as you're going up, let your shoulder follow you. So your shoulder should be up touching your ear at this point. Then go back around, back around, back around, back around. your arm's going to start to turn inward in order to come down. When your arm goes down, pull your shoulder down. As you go forward with your hand, your shoulder goes forward. That's called protracting your scapula. As you go up with your hand, your shoulder goes up to your ear. That's called elevation of your scapula. As you go back with your hand, your shoulder blade retracts. That's called retraction. And then come down and around. Now this is depression. Okay, so we're going to exaggerate. Your shoulder follows your finger. Point where you're going and move your shoulder towards your finger the whole time. Remember, as you're going up, your shoulder goes up. As you go back, your shoulder blade starts to move its way towards the spine. That's retraction. As you go down, you can pull your shoulder down, depression. Around, forward, protract, shoulder blade apart from the spine. Up, shoulder up to the ear. Around, retract the shoulder blade in towards the spine, and then release. Let's do the other hand, okay? So in the first part, you can reach down, your shoulder will depress. As you go forward, pull your shoulder blade forward towards your finger. So that's called protraction. As you go up, your shoulder blade should lift up, your shoulder touches your ear. That's called elevation. A lot of people, when they do this, they pull the shoulder, their ear down to the shoulder. That's not the same. That's called lateral flexion of the neck. Elevation of the scapula, shoulder goes up, then move back around, and you're trying to move your shoulder blade now into the spine as you come around, okay? Down, shoulder goes down. Forward, shoulder goes forward. Hand goes up, shoulder goes up. Hand goes back, shoulder blade retracts. Hand goes down, shoulder depresses. Let's go forward, shoulder blade apart from the spine. It's like you're doing a punch. Then you go up, shoulder touches the ear. Then you go back, shoulder blade starts to move towards the spine as you come around. And one more time. Forward, 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 up, 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 up. Back, 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 back. Shoulder blade towards the spine and release. Okay, so that's learning how to do scapulohumeral rhythm. Humerus is the arm bone. Scapula is the shoulder blade. Scapulohumeral rhythm. Wherever the arm bone goes, the scapula follows, or scapula moves and then the arm bone follows. So that rhythm is something that's really important for what we're going to be doing first, which is, well, one of the first things we'll be doing is jumping forward from down dog to Uttanasana. The arms come from this position. As you jump forward, they go to this position and back again like this. So there's this movement that happens in space where you're actually going from shoulder elevation to a little more protraction to elevation. And if you understand that there's these movements available to you in your body, then you're more likely to be able to access them. All right, come to the top of your mat. And at the top of your mat, you can face forward, but I'm gonna face you for a second. You're gonna take your arms. Have you ever watched Karate Kid, maybe? It does this wax off technique. This wax off technique is external rotation of the arm bone. Okay, so I'd like you to do this wax off technique and then lower the hand so that the palm is facing forward. Imagine you have like fireballs in your palm. You're going, wow, like an old school video game. Those of you that ever played Street Fighter, I think it was. Okay, the other hand, wax off. A lot of karate today. I'm not sure what that's all about. Wax off, and then you're going to try to get your forearm parallel to the ground while your wrist extend back. So forearm parallel to the ground while your wrist extend back. Now, if you look at just my upper arm bone here, if I took my elbow out of it, my arms are down. So in this position here, which is going to be chaturanga, you're going to pull your shoulders down. Okay, so shoulders down the back in this arm when the arm bone is by its side. And then now what we're going to do is go to plank. So from this position, which is chaturanga, you're going to move to plank, and that means you're going to put your arms forward. So we're going to move our shoulder blades apart from one another as you go to plank. Okay, so imagine this is plank, is standing plank, shoulder blades apart. Now, as you come back in by your sides, your shoulder blades retract to neutral. They don't go all the way back to retraction like this because your arms aren't behind you yet, right? They're just in a neutral position. So now push and protract. That means separate your shoulder blades as you come to plank pose. Okay, then elbows start to bend, palms are still facing forward and the shoulders are retracting, but they never go to retraction, right? They're moving in the direction of, but they're not actually going to retraction. And if you're not sure, actually retract your shoulder blades by taking your elbows back and your arms back like this, okay? And when you do that, you're gonna feel your rhomboids, the muscles between your scapula, engage. That would be retraction. This is resting neutral. So from resting neutral, plank pose, protract the shoulder blades apart from one another. And if you're not sure, you can just look at my back, see how my shoulder blades are apart from each other. Now, as you come back, the shoulder blades come to resting neutral. Here's retraction, here's neutral. Okay, now, as you push, protract, separate your shoulder blades, they go away from the spine. And then as you move back into chaturanga, your shoulder blades are resting neutral. Okay, release. Now the major difference between what we just did and chaturanga, I hope it's obvious, is that gravity is weighing you down when you do plank and chaturanga, whereas gravity is really not playing much of a role in this movement here when we're standing. Okay, so here we don't have to fight gravity. But if we turn this horizontally, we flip it 1/4 of the way, then we're gonna be fighting gravity. And let me just tell you right away, the necessary action that you need to do the entire way. When I say action, I mean engagement of a muscle. When I say an alignment, I mean your joints are doing something. So the joints will be doing protraction from plank to neutral, which would be, they are retracting, boom. From protraction to retraction. Memorize that for a second. Protraction, separate the shoulder blades, to retraction. Never fully retracted, but in the direction of retraction. However, this is the key point that I need you to land in your body and in your mind. The entire time, because gravity is pushing you down, gravity is bending your elbows, gravity is retracting your scapula. What we need to do is progressively protract and straighten the elbows. So we're trying to straighten the elbows and protract the entire time. However, we start to release some of our effort, and by releasing some of our effort, the elbows will bend, the shoulder blades will retract due to the weight of our body and gravity. And that's what takes us down slowly and steady, okay? I know that's a lot of head stuff, and we're gonna get into our body and make sure you feel this, and we'll repeat it. And you know, as we go throughout this immersion, it's going to get more and more intense, I promise that, and more challenging on the body. But I want to make sure that you have an understanding intellectually, because then your body will be on board with the actions. Okay, come to chair pose just to warm up. We'll move our spine a bit. With your hands on your thighs, on the inhale, stick your bum up to the sky, lift your chest. This is an arch position, anterior tilt of the pelvis. As you exhale, like cat pose, scoop your tailbone around your back. Inhale, anterior tilt, stick your bum up to the sky, arch the back, lift the chest, stretch the belly. Exhale, posterior tilt of the pelvis, round. Inhale, anterior tilt. Exhale. The movement lasts the whole duration of the breath. And the breath is long. Let's do a few more. One more, inhale. Exhale, bow, Uttanasana, forward fold. Half lift on the inhale. Step your left foot back as you exhale. High up on the fingertips, pull your feet toward each other. Inhale, lift. Hold here as you exhale. Let's find the muscles that we're going to use for movement later on. One of them is the right buttocks. So you're going to press your right heel down into the ground, so much so
that your hips, instead of sagging down, they rise up away from the ground. That'll be your glute muscles, your buttock muscles, okay? So relax for a second. One key point is keep your front ribs in. So round your back as you push down through the heel, and your fingers will get light. Exhale, relax. We're gonna do that a few more times. Inhale, push down, round your back till your fingers come off the ground. Exhale. One more time. Inhale, push through the heel, get light round the back. There's space between your thigh and your ribs. Exhale, fingertips out in front. Inhale, step forward, halfway lift. Exhale, bow forward. Mindfully moving. Inhale, rise to the sun, Urdhva Hastasana through water. So slow, resistant as you're moving. Exhale, this is what makes the movement look graceful on the outside. On the inside, there's a push and a pull happening. Inhale, through range of motion. It's like you're going underneath water. Exhale to the earth bow. Slow, steady, not just flailing around. Inhale, halfway lift. Slow and steady. Notice when you have jerky movements, step your right foot back. Through water, okay? Take a breath in here. Soften at first. Gather strength in the legs by pulling your feet toward each other, and your hips will lift. Exhale it out. Let's just find these buttock muscles. Your left sit bone scoops underneath, like you're tucking your tail. That's like posterior tilt. And then your front heel presses down until your upper back rounds. A lot of times when people do that, they'll lift the chest and then they'll bypass the buttocks altogether. So if you round your back, it'll force you to use your buttocks. Let's take a breath in. And then together soften, relaxing that energy. Okay, inhale, push down through the left heel, round the back, fingers off the ground. Exhale, soften. Couple more. Inhale, push down through the heel, round the back, get lighter. Exhale. One more time. Inhale, push down, round the back. Exhale, hands to the ground. Fingers out in front. Step the right foot forward slowly, like you're moving through water. Lengthen the chest. Exhale, bow. Inhale to the sunrise, moving maybe even through oil, like even thicker. Exhale, hands to heart. This is what's going to train the muscles slowly to make sure that they're activating against one another like a pulley system. Inhale, reach the arms up. Keep going. Exhale, bow to the earth. Uttanasana, forward fold. I want to just raise the viewfinder a little bit. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, left foot back. Okay, now we actually do movement. Push through the heel, round the back. Hands to the front thigh. Same warm up that we did in chair pose. Bend your back knee. Inhale, stick your bum up to the sky. Arch the back, lift the chest. Exhale, scoop the tailbone round the back. You can keep the back knee bent for now. Inhale, anterior tilt of the pelvis. Lift the sit bones, lift the heart. Stretch the abdomen. Exhale, round the back, scooping the tail. Moving through water or oil. Inhale. Anterior tilt, arch the back, look up. Exhale. Posterior tilt, round the back, hold. Now firm up your back inner leg up to the sky. Push down through the front heel, slowly take the arms out to the sides and rise all the way up, high lunge. Hold, exhale. Something we need to learn first is shifting our weight forward and back. So the back heel is going to sink back as your front knee moves towards the back of the pose, okay? Now push the back heel up and move your front knee forward, and then release the back heel back as your front knee goes back. Now we're transitioning our weight back and forth, right? Transition forward and transition back. Take your hands on your hips. Now as you transition forward, front knee is gonna go, maybe just watch 1 second. Front knee is gonna go forward, and then you're gonna try to step right into chair pose and place the foot down, okay? So let's do it together. Hands to the hips to make it easier for you. You'll go back, and the front knee has to go forward, chest forward, as you step into chair pose. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Halfway lift on the inhale. Right foot back, exhale, it'll move through water. Push down through your left heel, round the back, hands to the front thigh. Bend the back knee. Inhale, anterior tilt, lift the sit bones, lift the heart. Exhale, scoop the tailbone, round the back. Inhale, anterior tilt, arch, look up. Exhale. Let's do a few more. Inhale, anterior tilt, lift the chest. Exhale, posterior tilt, round. Inhale, anterior tilt, last one. Exhale, posterior tilt, round. Okay, press down through your front heel. Left buttocks will firm up. Take the arms out to the sides and up. Firm up the back inner leg. Now, more or less when your back heel is vertical or so, and your front knee is relatively over the heel, I'm not really a stickler for alignment like that, but rather technique, muscle activations are more important in my opinion. Okay, so more or less you have that alignment, okay? That's more centered, or perhaps a little bit more weight over the front foot, which is where I think it should be, because that's where your power is, that's where your muscle activation can be, whereas the back leg's more just like a pillar of strength, meaning just your bones more or less. So now we learn how to transition back and forth away from this midpoint. So move your front knee back and back heel back. That's going to put your pressure into the back of the pose. You might feel that in your low back. Some of you puts pressure into the low back because of the weight shift. Then you can lean forward all the way to the tippy toe of the back foot, I like to do, and then slow back, forward. We could be doing this with our breath. I apologize. I'm not cueing it. Now hands on hips, forward. Move your chest forward, knee forward all the way. Step right gracefully into chair pose. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bow, Uttanasana. Halfway lift on the inhale. Step both feet back, come onto all fours. All right, grip your fingers into the ground real strong. I'm trying to see, this angle is probably good for now. And move your shoulders more or less. You see how mine are vertical over the wrist? And then I'd like you to just do a little posterior tilt and pull your ribs in so that your shoulder blades protract. If you're not sure how to do that, what you should do is relax your chest. Your shoulder blades will retract, and then push, and your shoulder blades will move apart, okay? So it's pushing, that is the activity. Now, in this protracted position while you're in plank on knees, if you lean your body forward a little bit, you can start to bend your elbows. I'd like you to pause. You see how very little bend there is? Very micro bent. And then push back into plank pose, separating your shoulder blades. We have to maintain push power in order to slow down the descent. That means the whole time you're trying to straighten your elbows and you're trying to protract your scapula while you're allowing your elbows to bend and allowing your shoulder blades to come toward each other. That's right, I'm saying opposite things. The muscular system is trying to push the elbows straight and protract the scapula. However, the joints are allowing the elbows to bend, the shoulder blades are coming toward each other, and then push one more time. Do a few more of these little mini push-ups. Okay, and release. So right away, this is something I would love for you to post in the Facebook group. And those of you that, if you requested to be in the Facebook group and haven't gotten a response, you'll get it today, don't worry. You'll get accepted. If you post a video of this, we can see how you can see, and we can see how the scapula are moving in relationship to the elbow. So the biggest mistake I see is people will either move the scapula like this and not the elbow, or they'll move the elbow and not the scapula. So we want that scapulohumeral rhythm. So when the elbows bend, that means the arm bone is going from this position to this position. So we want to allow the shoulder blade to move back, but with our muscles, we're still thinking push like this. That's why it's so hard to do transitions to chaturanga. You have to muscularly be pushing while allowing the pulling in the joints. Okay, so I can only say it so many times. I know it's very conceptually challenging, so let's try to get back into it. Look forward with your chest, shoulder blades apart. Now, allow the shoulder blades to start to come toward each other a little bit and the elbows to bend just a little bit. The elbow points should be facing straight back and the hands are slightly turned out. Now I notice I'm looking at my posture in the monitor and my low back is a little bit swayed. So I'm going to pull my abdomen in to about there. Then I'll lean forward a little bit more, bending the elbows just a little bit more. Pause, hold here. Fingers grip the ground. Shoulder blades are trying to move apart, but you're allowing them to come toward each other. Muscularly, you're pushing apart, shoulder blades apart. Bend the elbows a little more, hold. Head lifted. Bend the elbows a little bit more, hold. And all the way down we go. I'm sure that's enough for you. Take the left arm out to the side, and you can just stretch the pectoral muscle for a moment. And then the other side. All right, come back to center. Now you're gonna come to all fours, hands and knees. Let's isolate the shoulder blades, okay? So at least you understand the difference between the actions. First steps first, we're gonna keep the elbows straight for now so that we are just learning the shoulder blade movement. Move your chest down so your shoulder blades come together, okay? Then push your shoulder blades apart, separate them away from one another. This is called protraction. Retraction, protraction. I'll switch the angle though. I think you kind of can see it pretty well from there, but let's just get another angle for the heck of it so you have another view. All right, so currently shoulder blades are apart, protraction, right? Now shoulder blades are together, retraction. Make sure the elbows are relatively straight the whole time. Then protract, shoulder blades apart, retract. Let's do it now slowly. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. All right. Step the right foot forward. And I'd love for you to kind of just in your low lunge, find a weight shift here, okay? You're not all the way back like you're stretching, but I just want you to feel, not everybody has this range of motion in the ankles, so just see how much range of motion you can do with leaning forward and leaning back. Okay, just a little bit here. And next step will be, you're gonna come into a supported warrior 3, which means your hands will come out in front, and then as you come forward, you're gonna come on up, supported warrior 3, okay? So you kind of get into this position here, Anjaneyasana, and then from this position, you're going to lean your body weight forward, use your buttocks to push down supported warrior three. And then you'll come back and watch how I come down. I bend the knee like I'm taking the elevator down, very slow and controlled right into the Anjaneyasana. And then we'll do it one more time. Forward. Warrior three. Back down. All right. Now, opposite, three-legged dog from this position. First step, knee to nose. So do this with me. Protract your scapula, straighten the back knee, and pull your heel to your bum. Place the foot down, bring the knee back down. Okay, let's see if we can get that all together. Like cat, round your back and push your shoulder blades apart as you straighten the back knee. I'll say that again. Round your back, push your shoulder blades apart, straighten the back knee. Now, do that and bring your heel to your bum. That's knee to nose. Three-legged dog, slow, reaching it back and up. Knee to chest, shoulder blades apart, step, knee down, Anjaneyasana, inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to the ground, out in front. Lean forward, inhale, supported warrior three. Exhale, slowly, place the left foot back down, slowly, knee down. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands to the ground. Inhale, hold. Prepare, shoulder blades apart. As you exhale, round the back knee lifts, knee to nose. Three-legged dog. Inhale, slow, through water. And right foot to the ground, downward facing dog. All right, so that's kind of like the first little sequence there. Let's take a full breath in. Feel free to bend your knees and move freely. Now move your shoulders all the way to your ears. And as you do so, lift the heels up and round your upper back. Walk slowly to the front of the yoga mat, trying to put your weight in your hands, fingers grip, 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 grip. Now pause. You're on your tippy toes, fingers grip the ground. You're in what's called a handstand preposition, or at least that's what I call it. Okay, shoulders to the ears, elbows straight, shoulders to the ears, elbows straight, heels up, and then release. Interlace the hands behind the back, open the shoulders. One more breath. Hands to the hips, arch the back and rise up. All right, I'm trying to switch back and forth between hip strength and upper body strength so we don't burn out here, okay? Bend the knees, chair pose. Exhale, bow, Uttanasana. Halfway lift on the inhale. Right foot back as you exhale. Inhale, rise, high lunge. Sorry, don't do that. Place the palms down. What I meant to say is inhale, step back, plank pose. Not at all the same. Exhale, knees down and lower slowly, Chaturanga. How slow can you lower with your knees down? How slow can you lower? Now, one thing that helps is squeezing your hands toward each other as you lower. Squeeze your hands toward each other. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Okay. We're not at yet the point where we're moving with our breath necessarily the whole time. It's because we're trying to activate muscles and techniques and whatnot. Okay, but we will be able to. 3 lifts of the chest, progressively higher. So first round, just lift your chest up. Exhale, slow. This time, lift your chest and your hands up. Retract your shoulder blades together. Exhale. Lastly, chest, hands, and feet. Inhale, chest, hands, feet. Exhale. With control. Make sure it's not just like, those power movements and then release. All fours, hands and knees. Okay. Let's get these chaturanga elements really dialed in. Hips forward and pause. So you're in a plank position on knees. Squeeze your hands toward each other isometrically and grip the fingers into the ground. My hands turn out. My fingers are even, especially for chaturangas, my hands are a little wider than, say, for down dog. Okay, so hands a little wider will give you more pectoral muscle strength. And now, squeezing your hands together, start to bend the elbows, and as you do so, keep leaning forward, gripping the ground, and shoulder blades are trying to push apart. Pause, hold. Go a little bit lower, bending the elbows, pause, hold. Shoulder blades are trying to push apart while you're letting them move toward each other. A little bit more, pause, hold. Squeeze your hands in toward each other, and then all the way down. Take your right arm, stretch the pectoral muscles so we don't burn out shoulders too much here. And then the other way. One thing I haven't cued yet is depressing the shoulder blades down towards the buttocks. In this chaturanga transition, it will really stabilize you. It'll help you if your shoulder blades are trying to pull down your back. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 actions for chaturanga in a moment, but first let's get connected to the other side, the left leg, so we can give our upper body a break. Knee to chest, step forward. Okay, that right there is a lot of protraction. I'm going to show you the difference for a second. If I don't protract my shoulder blades and I don't use my core muscles, the foot will go, sorry, Tito. That was me, bud. Thinks there's somebody at the door. If I don't do that, it doesn't quite make it. Sorry, bud. Bye. So if I retract and I sag my chest, I can't move it. But if I protract, round my back, it's easier to move. Of course, it requires tremendous hip flexor strength as well, okay? I'll give you another angle of that so you can just see. So the difference here, if I retract and sag, I can't move this the leg. But if I protract and round, there's space for it to move forward. Still requires strength of the lower body, but that upper body strength is what gets it to step forward easier. Okay, so let's prepare ourselves in Anjaneyasana. Just kind of give it a little bit of lean forward and lean back so you have an experience of understanding. Now, if you can, slow it down and feel the difference between the weight shift, because what I see a lot of times is when people step forward, it's like this launch into something rather than a smooth movement into it. Okay, so smooth transitions is what we're going to be going for. Okay, so let's try it into supported warrior 3. The weight leans forward, place the fingertips down, rise to 3-legged. Okay, then bend, take the elevator down as I say. Tippy toe, ball mound, back. Let's do a few of these. Using your buttocks to push through the heel. Using your buttocks to resist as you go down so it's a weight transfer. We'll do one more. Okay, this time come up to high lunge on the inhale, rise. Same way, rounded back, buttocks active. Rise all the way up, hands to the sky. Okay. Now, is it possible from this pose Let's try slowly lowering down. Fingertips out in front. Leg goes up. Supported warrior 3. Now, bend the left knee, slow. Foot comes down. And then Anjaneyasana, inhale. Reach the arms. I like that, by the way, to come back into this, to sweep the hands back and up. Okay, next thing, knee to nose. So exhale, hands to the ground. We're gonna pause between here, hold. And lift the back knee up like plank pose. So your whole body's in plank except for the front hip. Round the back, protract your shoulder blades and grip the ground. Pull your heel to your bum, keeping the knee to the chest. Okay, now inhale, reach back, slow, 3-legged dog. Exhale, knee to chest, step forward. Let's put some poses together on this side. High lunge, inhale, rise. Exhale, slow, lower, fingertips out in front. Inhale, transition weight forward. 3-legged, sorry, that would be not 3-legged. Can't think of the name. Supported warrior 3. Foot down, Anjaneyasana, knee down. Reach back and up. Exhale, hands to the ground. Pause here for an inhale so you can prepare. Lift the back knee up. Exhale, knee to chest. Round, shoulder blades apart. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, release. All right. Now, move your mat aside. Before we kind of put all those things together, let's work on chaturangas and work on the jump forwards from down dog. So my suggestion, is you have a towel, socks, or something, and we're gonna work on the chaturanga, all the actions the way that we did it, and I'll give you different ideas as we go along. But essentially, you're gonna take the same idea. Let's see. Yeah, you should be able to see pretty well from there. I'll give it a little bit lower. Okay. The towel is just going to help us mitigate the whole jumping part at first so that you can work on the biomechanics. You can watch this one time slowly and then you can start working it on your own. First step is hands wide, fingers grip, and the chest has to go this way, forward, for the pose to unfold properly. If I move my chest back like this, it's always gonna fall or be heavy. When you jump back, it's gonna be a clunk with your feet. But if you move your weight forward as your feet go back, it keeps you in balance. Watch. Weight forward. Okay, then you can do whoop. And then if you can, now if you cannot do that, don't worry. You just slide the blanket forward. I'll give you a different drill for hop forwards in a second. But make sure you practice a few times. Try this with me now. Take your hands to the ground, fingers turned out. Major steps, elbow points straight back. That's external rotation. That's that wax off we did in the beginning. Okay, biceps face forward. That's gonna stabilize your rotator cuff. Okay, so external rotation, step one. Step two is try to push the ground away, which is an activation of the triceps and the serratus anterior, which protracts the scapula. And then action three is squeeze your hands toward each other. That's gonna be pectoral muscles. With all that stability, you're gonna maximize your strength. Okay, so externally rotate, push. Now lean your body forward, fingers grip the ground as you slide back, pause in a little chaturanga with your elbows bent, shoulder blades apart. Now to go the rest of the way, the shoulder blades do have to come together at some point. Here is where the shoulder blades are completely together, okay? Then I suggest coming to all fours. And then, you know what, let me just pause and I'll show you the next step. right away. Okay, so the next thing is a short down dog. So bring the towel forward, a short down dog, but like the handstand prep position I showed you earlier, your shoulders are to the ears, your upper back is rounded, you lean forward into your gripping fingers, and then you pull it forward. And then I would say take a break because this is a lot of effort. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that you can rewind and rewatch in this one class. We're gonna put things together, I promise, as we go along throughout this immersion so that everything's going to feel seamless and smooth. However, it takes a lot of practice. So I wouldn't say that you just, this is a one and done type of class. Kind of have to repeat it a few times. All right, so here we go. And I'll try to integrate these exercises throughout the immersion as well. Especially if you really like it, let me know and I'll try to repeat it. So let's together learn the chaturanga jump back through sliding. By the way, if you have a rug, you can use plastic plates or something on top of a rug that also slides. So hands wider and turned out. Step 1, externally rotate, so biceps face forward. Step 2 is already start pushing. So push the ground away, look forward with your chest. Now as you slide the feet back, your chest goes forward. Woo, and squeeze the hands toward each other. Now this is where I usually land in this lifted chaturanga, and then I slowly lower from there. And the shoulders retract as I come down. Okay, see how now the arm bone is up behind me? That's how I know I'm supposed to be retracted. Okay, because that's proper biomechanics. Then I come to all fours, hands and knees. And then we're gonna do the down dog, jump forward or slide forward. Hi Tito, welcome back. All right, and I'm gonna switch the camera right now. All right, so another angle for you. The down dog jump forward. Round your back, separate your shoulder blades, and come into a short down dog. Short because it's way harder to hold if it's long because the blanket will slide out. So you lean forward, grip the ground, shoulders to ears, and slide, pull, 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 right into that handstand prep position we worked on. Shoulders to the ears, elbows straight, push, 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 and release. Okay. Do you have any questions? If so, throw them up in the chat right now so I can see if I can support you with anything further. Okay? Throw them up there and I'll keep an eye out. I know it's a little bit delayed. Okay. So the next step, of course, after you do the blanket slides and you get strong with those and feel really confident, is to jump back and forward. And to make those jump backs and forwards really smooth, you have to have enough upper body strength and biomechanics. So the techniques that we just laid out have to be so ingrained in your system. Otherwise, when you take your feet off the ground, you'll just go back to your old habits. So I don't always recommend you go to the jump backs and jump forwards right away, but rather you practice a whole practice with the blanket. So why don't we try, we're gonna do a few different types of sun salutation variations like we were just working on with a blanket the whole time. Okay, so I don't see any messages in the chat, but just throw them up if you have any questions. Step onto your blanket or your towel, whatever you have. Open the collarbones because they're probably the muscles are starting to get tense up here. And we'll move with our breath this time, okay? So steady, even breath. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, bow, Uttanasana. Halfway lift, inhale. Slide back, chaturanga. All the way down. 3 progressive lifts. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, release. Heart and hands. Inhale, lift the heart. Hands, shoulder blades retract. Exhale. Heart, hands, and feet. Inhale. Exhale. Apologize for your knees. Come to all fours. Inhale. See if you can just pull the towel towards you so your feet can come to the ground. Down dog. Slowly, right leg comes to the sky. Three-legged dog. Your left foot is on the ground, not the towel. Exhale, knee to nose, round the back, shoulder blades apart from one another. So protract, knee to chest. Inhale, back and up. Slow and steady. Exhale, knee to chest, but step this time. We're going to skip the knee down because of knee issues, I know. Rise up, high lunge. Exhale, hands to the ground out in front of your toes. So lean your front knee, see that? Lean to the ground. Inhale, three-legged. I keep saying that. Supported warrior three, sorry. Exhale, take the elevator down. It's going to be tricky. Bypass the towel. Well, usually I would do knee down, but rise up, high lunge. Some of you have knee pain when your knees on the ground, so I'm trying to avoid that. Exhale, hands to the ground. We're going to take a breath here. Inhale. Back knee's already lifted. Exhale, knee to chest. Hold. Lean forward, knee to chest. And release all fours. Place your knees on the blanket. Child's pose. Give yourself a moment. All fours, hands and knees. Inhale. Tuck the toes. Exhale. Let's try that smoothly on the left side. Inhale, three-legged dog, slow. Exhale, step. Sorry, knee to nose. Man, screwing it up. Inhale, left leg backing up. Apologize. Now, knee to chest and step. Slow and steady. High lunge, rise. Inhale, push down through your heel, round the back. Exhale, hands to the ground out in front. Shift your body weight forward, push down, rise. Supported warrior three, I got the name this time. Exhale, take the elevator down. Slow and steady, reach the foot past the blanket. Inhale, rise, sweep the arms back and up. Exhale, hands to the ground. We'll take a breath. Inhale here. Prepare yourself. Protract your shoulder blades, lean forward, and pull your heel to your bum. Exhale. Inhale, knee down, and release. Child's pose. Okay, cool. So now, let's come into a short down dog. First, all fours, inhale. Take the feet to the blanket. Now, shoulders to the ears, lean forward and grip the ground. As you lean forward and grip the ground, slide the mat or blanket or towel or socks towards you. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow. Bend the knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay. Let's move the blanket off to the side and see if we can work on a jump back. I'm going to show you something that I do that makes jumping back way easier. It's a little trick for the body. The body finds it easier to do this jump back from this position. Let's see, what clock direction does the index finger point? So index finger can face straight forward or slightly out to the side. Okay, so index finger straight forward. Straight forward. You can't see that. Here you can see this one. Whoop. So index finger straight forward, fingers out to the side, or even slightly out even more. And now what that does is it helps you rotate the arms, that wax off technique. So that stabilizes the rotator cuff muscles, the muscles behind your shoulder blade there, that keep the arms steady in the socket. Squeezing the arms in contracts the pectoral muscles as well as the latissimus dorsi. That slows down the descent of the shoulders. The push of the shoulder blades this way is your serratus anterior. So doing those three things, external rotation, squeezing in, and pushing, if you do those three things, you have the maximum amount of strength available in your body that's going to be supporting this posture. It's going to slow it down the most, okay? So watch how I do the transition from halfway lift to chaturanga. I think this should be a good angle. Inhale, halfway lift. I bend the knees, exhale, so my chest is now already in prep. You see how my arms are already in prep for chaturanga? Most people would never see this if I didn't slow it down. Okay, then look how far forward I'm leaning. Fingers are gripping like mad. Okay, so that's different. And eventually you can do it certainly from this position here, but this is a lot harder from Ardha Uttanasana. So you inhale, half lift. As you exhale, watch, knees bend, chest stays forward, fingers grip. Okay, let's try that, okay? Because it's way easier when your knees are bent. Now, I'm going to show it to you in real time and from the other angle, okay? So you can see. You probably wouldn't even notice. So exhale, bow. Right, then I would inhale. From here, exhale back. Now, most people wouldn't see that all happening. You would just see, and be like, whoa, you know, what a float. But there's a whole thing that's happening in between that I'm trying to help you with here is halfway lift, bend your knees, chest forward, fingers grip, elbows already slightly bent. What are the three shoulder actions? Externally rotate, squeeze in, and push. Okay, those are the three shoulder actions. Externally rotate, squeeze in, and push. Oops, that's the split screen. Let's do this. All right, ready? So it's from here to here. Don't worry so much about the breath yet. When you get masterful at the action, then we can put it together. Exhale, squeeze in, and here you are. Notice how I didn't land like this, you know, like somewhere down here. I tried to land more like in a plank position with a slight elbow bend, okay? And the reason why is if you go too far down, even if you go down to like this 90-degree ideal shape and everybody says like, you know, that's where chaturanga is, it's very heavy. Rather land here and then lower. And a lot of you will run out of gas or just run out of energy from even the first jump. So place your knees down. I'll show you one more time. Here's what you could do. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees. Place the hands, feet back, knees down, lower. Okay, so make it practical. And I'm gonna say this, if the jump backs are just out of reach, do not worry. Just step back and work on lowering. This is the best advice I could give you. Work on lowering slowly by stepping both feet back, place the knees down, lower slowly, and develop the strength. Just focus on the three shoulder actions. That is, externally rotate the arm bones. That's the wax off technique. This, okay, when the biceps rotate out. Your hands will be fixed, so it's just gonna, it'll look like your elbows are coming in. Don't put your elbows in. Externally rotate them towards, externally rotate the arms and they will come in. But don't put them in, that just turns off all your muscles. We want to develop strength of the body, not just put ourselves on top of ourselves, okay? Strength, that's what's going to create that graceful movement, that flow that everybody's, you know, craving, that really joyous, expressive art form. But that doesn't happen if the muscular system isn't strong and you're just, you know, kind of placing yourself on top of your joints. So work on development of the strength. External rotation, squeeze in with the arm bones. This is going to start to get the pectorals activated. And then push like you're trying to go to plank. Okay? Now do that by stepping back. You can still make it very graceful. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step both feet back, knees down. Okay, well for now, just the progressive lift. We'll save Cobra and Up Dog for another day. Inhale, lift, hands. Exhale. Inhale, hands and feet. Exhale. All fours, hands and knees. Tuck toes, exhale, down dog. Right leg to the sky, slow, inhale. Knee to nose, round the upper back, grip the ground. Inhale, back and up. Slow, exhale, knee to nose, but step. High lunge, rise, inhale. Supported warrior 3, but exhale, hands to the ground out in front. Use the inhale to rise up with the left leg. Exhale, take the elevator back down. Slow and steady. Anjaneyasana, sweep the arms back, reach up. Exhale, knee to nose right away, try it. Inhale, three-legged dog. Right shin across the mat, pigeon pose. Lift the chest up. Exhale and bow. So take just a few moments to cool down here. We're a little bit out of time. I apologize for that. It's a lot to try to cover in one class, so I'm going to keep unfolding as we go along. And next time we'll get back to the jump forwards. Well, we can probably do one jump forward after this pigeon, okay? So one thing about pigeon is you'll see that I usually bow off to the side a little bit. That helps the pelvis rotate towards the foot, which allows for a little more range of motion in the joint, less compression. And if you want to bow your head, you can. One more breath. All right, walk the hands back. Here's what we're going to do. From pigeon pose, right to knee to nose. So inhale. Exhale, down dog. Left side up, inhale. Step forward as you exhale. Sorry, knee to nose. I keep forgetting that because I don't want to do it. Inhale, back and up. Exhale, step forward this time. Knee to nose, then step. High lunge, rise up. Exhale, hands to the ground out in front, preparing. Inhale, lean forward. Lift the back leg up. Supported warrior 3. Exhale, take the elevator back down slow. Point the back foot until you get there. Back knee comes down. Inhale, sweep the arms back and up. Exhale, hands to the earth. Knee to chest right away. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, shin across the mat. Lift the chest, inhale. Move the hips back. Exhale, bow to the right. We get 5 breaths. All right, come on up. Knee to chest on the inhale. Down dog. Now you can watch me one moment. Last thing I'll share with you is the hop forward. And the key here is a little anterior tilt. Sticking your buttocks up. Keep your knees bent. This is a really great way to learn how to jump forward. So you keep your knees bent and your butt up. And that, stick your butt back, is what's going to make it a nice soft landing. Stick your butt back, stick your butt back, stick your butt back. And if you can't, take your feet wider and it'll be easier to stick your bum back. So try a little jump. I'll give you another camera angle of that. Don't need the split screen. Okay. So you get a little down dog, bend the knees, stick your bum up to the sky. Push with your arms As you hop forward, butt back, feet can be wide, okay? So everybody, I'm gonna give you, you can just watch one time. I'm gonna do the full flow so that you have a visual of it. You can practice it. I'd love for you to post it in the Facebook group, and just, I'd be happy to support you. If you want any tips, just let me know if you have questions, and I'll work through it. So here we are. Like a sun salutation, but massive modifications to it. Watch the slow movement. You hear how long the breath is? The movement lasts the whole breath. Or at least I'm trying. This is one breath. Exhale. Inhale. The flow would just be this. Exhale. It's progressively going downward. Left side. I didn't forget. High lunge first. Preparing. Inhale, rise. Supported. Elevator down slow. You see how I keep my weight forward? Anjaneyasana. Exhale right into knee to nose. Watch the control. Back leg lifts. Inhale, three-legged. Exhale, shin. Rise. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale. Three-legged. Exhale, down dog. And it can progressively keep going, of course, but we take a breath in. Exhale, and you can enjoy down dog. And then is the jump forward after 3 breaths, or 1 breath if you prefer. Inhale. Look forward, lean forward, and push. Butt back. Half lift. Exhale, bow. And we just end it right there. All right, so that is the flow. And if you want to try it, I would love to see if you post it in the Facebook group. Would love to see it. You could also, you're welcome to post that transitions and stuff in on Instagram or whatever you want to do. That's totally fine with me, so don't worry about that. But focus. The reason why I usually invite everyone to film is because it calls your attention to what you think you're doing is not always what you are doing. Okay, so we want to be attentive to what we are doing.
And part of that can be self-reflecting through watching yourself move. Now, what I would invite you to do is look at the movement as if it's a different body, rather than looking at your body and being like, oh, I'm so weak, or I'm so heavy, or I'm so this or that, whatever, like those judgments that would come up normally when you would maybe judge yourself for, from an ego standpoint. Look at yourself like a student. Watch yourself move as if it's, a student of yours looking for help, and instead observe from that standpoint and see what can be done more of, so more protraction is available, more leaning forward is available, more gripping the ground with the fingers is available, right? Look at it as if you are your own student. And if you do it that way, I hope there'd be a lot less judgment involved. And that way you can just invite yourself into the creativity of self-reflection as far as the physical body, and the camera can really be supportive in that. Of course, if you don't want to film, you don't have to. It's just an invitation for any of you that want to do it. So what I'm going to just recommend before, and I apologize we've gone so over time here, is you find a wall, just a little longer class than I could keep going for another 2 hours with this particular setup, because the foundations take some time. Let's just stretch the pectoral muscles here. Once we have the proper foundations laid down, like once your jump backs and jump forwards are feeling really confident, when you can press down through the heel and rise up through high lunge using your buttocks instead of wibble wobbling, you can really rise up through this graceful transition of a movement. Once all of those little preliminary things, your three-legged dog is slow and steady as you go up, right? When they're all there, then you can start adding on, and it becomes really enjoyable to flow and move, because your body's not having to survive the movement, but rather it's an opportunity for you to strengthen within the movements and to be just enjoy it, But if you're just surviving, if it's painful and the body doesn't feel good, then you're never going to like flow. Okay, switch sides. All right. So just so everybody's aware, usually we end, usually a 75-minute class. I apologize, this has gone very far over time. I will stick to the 75-minute mark for the rest. Hopefully it served you. In this position here, by the way, retracting your shoulder blade, so moving it towards your spine. Okay, and release. Let's come onto our back. If you need anything like a twist or whatever, you're welcome to. Otherwise, a happy baby, or just hug the knees to the chest. I like to give my neck a little stretch, personally. Finish any last things that you're doing and settle into Shavasana. Any Shavasana variations that you'd like to take is fine with me. Whatever suits your body. If you prefer seated meditation to close, you're welcome to that instead. Now, it's a lot of upper body activity, a lot of strength. Let the muscles release completely. your breath back to your awareness. Awaken the fingers and toes. Stretch the arms. Roll to your side and come up to a seated position. Place the palms at the heart. Feel the energy of your body. Feel the sensations. Feel what you've created from your practice. We bow in honor of this physical body, this practice that allows us to become more aware of it, develop gratitude for it, and ultimately appreciate it by connecting to it more, utilizing it, practicing within it. Grateful for this physical form that we get to experience life within. Namaste. Thank you all so much for your tremendous effort. I know that was a bit challenging with chaturangas and everything. It's something you will build strength over the course of time if you practice those actions. A lot of people practice chaturanga and they just do whatever their body does, which means that you fall into the patterns of your muscular system. And in this way, you'll develop strength over the course of time, and that strength will make it easier and easier, more graceful, more you'll have more freedom to flow in a way that feels magnificent to you. I remember about 6-7 years ago, I started practicing some flow classes with my friend, and I was like, my body just hurt because I wasn't used to aligning and finding muscle activations through movement. And so this is where I really focused. I started to realize okay, I've got some weak points in my asana practice. I don't have the muscle engagements through transitions, and it takes some effort and it takes practice, but then over the course of time you can start to flow in a really graceful way and one that feels good to you, and that's the ultimate goal. So I thank you for tuning in. You can throw some comments in the chat and I'll make sure to respond over here. It was so enriching. Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah. Thanks for practicing, everyone. And I'm delighted to continue sharing this immersion with you, and thank you for signing up. Again, I would love if you would take time to just film that last flow that I showed, I demonstrated. You can just put it back, click play again later, and or right now, and film yourself doing it. And if you feel so called to share it, again, it's not about perfection or anything like that, or receiving anybody's approval, especially mine, whatever. Just posting it there. If you want feedback or tips to help improve, just put it in the post in the Facebook group so that I know you're looking for that. If you just want to celebrate what you did and the efforts that you're putting in, if that's enough, then I totally I'm on board with that. You don't need feedback on everything. So you can just post it as a celebration, that's fine. So as a rule of thumb, I usually only give feedback if you ask for tips and advice, and then I'm happy to take a look. And usually what happens is the people that feel most confident in their body, share, and then those that don't. So I'd love for everybody to share. That way we open up a conversation, and also just a support team, just like a group of that, the group is there. There's a lot of negative stuff on Facebook, and this could be just one really positive thing that we can share together online. Is just expression of our physical bodies and how we interact with it. So thank you, everybody. Lots of love to you, and I'll just keep an eye on the chat for a few more moments. case anybody has any questions or anything they'd like to share. I'm gonna try to show you outside, but I can't really get a good view, unfortunately. All right, everybody, take care. Be well.